All right. Good morning, students. How are you doing? Welcome to the recorded section of your coding class for JSS1, Roseful International High School. Your week one started with introduction to HTML. And the text editor we're going to be using is um VS Code. All right. I will start straight away with my by opening the VS Code. Um, I'm going to be showing you. Don't worry. In another video, I'm going to be showing you if you don't yet have if you don't yet have a VS Code on your phone. I mean on your laptop. How do you download it for MacBook? For Windows system, how do you download it on these devices? We are going to be doing a separate video for that one. But purpose of this class is to, first of all, take you through the introduction of your coding for this term, week one, which is introduction to HTML. I'm going to be, when you open your VS Code, the next thing to do is to, when you want to start a web project, is to first of all create a folder. Now, I came to this file explorer icon. I clicked on it. Then this will pop up. Then I will open a folder. Click on open folder. All right. Now, you can now click on new folder. Then I can, let me just say JSS1 uh or week one JSS1. You can name it anything. Okay. So now I can open my my folder now. It will open up in the VS Code. Now, the next thing to do is to um create a file where you are going to be coding. Now, since we are dealing with HTML, so the extension for our file is going to be in .html, just like when you have uh, a PDF folder, a PDF file, the extension for it is .pdf. I get what I'm saying now. So for this one, it is .html, the extension. So I will come to, we have three icons there beside your folder or project name. We have new file, we have new folder. If I click on new file, I can now type index.html. I will type that one. I will click enter. Now I have my index.html here now. Now the next thing to do is to create a boiler template. I am sure your auntie would have taught you what a boiler template means. A boiler template in programming simply means an empty template. And you're going to be seeing the reason why we call it an empty template. To create a boiler template, you go on the keyboard of your computer, either desktop or laptop. You click on the shift key and also the figure one key, which has exclamation on top of it. So just once, you click it once, shift and exclamation mark. You press your shift before you press your figure one. And once you press it once, you remove your hand, then you can now click enter. You can click enter. Now it's going to create a boiler template. Now, when you have this, why are we referring to this as an empty template? Now, the first thing you need to realize is that, okay, let's say when we want to, well, let's try and run this code and see what it brings on your browser. Then you understand what I'm trying to say. Now, I'm going to be using an extension called live server. If you are installing your VS Code for the very first time, The first thing you need to do is to go to this extension. Look at it, extension. You can see all the icons there. You go to extension, you click this one. Then all I need to do is to type live. In fact, immediately you type live, it's going to pop up everything that has live in it. Now, the one that has live server, the one that has retweak day is the one you click on. When you click on this one, because I already installed it, it brings on install. So if you have not yet installed it, all you need to click is to click on the install button. And immediately you click it, and it's finished installing, you go back to your file explorer here. So you can go back to your file. Now, to run a live server in your VS Code, you need to press Control key, Shift, and letter P. Control, but on Mac, if you are using MacBook, you are going to be using, instead of Control, you are going to be using Command, Shift, and P. Now, it brought the live server here for me. Live server, open with live server, because I've opened it before. But if you have not yet opened it before, you just install the live server. It won't bring anything. So you need to now type live here. And it's going to bring different types of live server. But the one you are going to click on will be the one that has live server colon open with live server. So you click on it, then it's going to open this up. You can now see this is our folder. You can see this is documents here. Now, everything here is blank, and that is why we refer to it as a boiler template. Is it because there's nothing on your website. So I'm going to be sorry. Let me close this one. So let me go back to. So I will come back here now. Now your index.html page is referred to as the home page. You know, your index finger is your number one finger. So the page is used to communicate with Google that, okay, as index page, that, okay, this is the first page on this website. And that is why when you open a website, maybe www. Let me give you, for example, Roseful. Roseful International School. Let's come to your, okay. So rosefulschools.com.ng. When we click on this one, you can see the first page it opens up is your own page. This is the index.html page. When you click on about, when you click about, you can now see it takes you to about page. You can see here on the about Roseful International School. If you go back to the home page, you can see this is the homepage, Roseful International High School, and this is where that title, where you have these documents, is where you have this Roseful International High School. I can also do something like this also. I can say Roseful International. Let me see. Roseful International High School. If I save it, let's see what we have here. You can see I have Roseful International High school. All right, good. So, but this is not the focus of this class. It's just to introduce you to HTML. And sorry, before I go further, HTML simply means hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language. So, what do you use HTML for? You use HTML to create a web page. Now, and the basic structure of the HTML is what we have here in the boiler template. Starting from the doc type HTML, you can see in the doc type HTML, we have the exclamation mark here. And another name for the doc type HTML is a declaration tag. It is used to communicate with HTML5 that the type of document I'm sending to you is HTML. So that's the meaning. The full meaning of this doc type is document type. That the browser, the type of document I'm sending to you is HTML, and that's the idea. Then after the doc type HTML, we now have the HTML. HTML, we have the HTML tag. We have the HTML tag. Now, before I go further, now the structure, HTML is structured uh with tags and elements. Tags and elements. Now, an element is made up, could be made up of a single or a double tag. When an element has a single tag, we refer to it as a self-closing tag. And when an element has two tags, we say it has opening and closing tags. Now, this doc type HTML now is a declaration tag and it only has a single tag. It only has a single tag, so it's a self-closing tag. Now we go to the HTML tag. Now inside this HTML tag, it has an attribute lang language. You can see helps define the language of the element. So now the language here is English en. If I'm writing this programming language in French, it's going to be lang will be fr. If it is Arabic, it's going to be ar, and that is it. So we have the HTML, we have the HTML element, and that is what actually wraps up your entire website. You can see and it is not a self-closing tag. It has an opening and also a closing tag. You have the HTML here, and this is the closing tag of the HTML. Now, what do you use to differentiate between a opening and a closing tag? A closing tag is going to bear the same name with the opening tag, but with a forward slash. You can see this sign. Let me separate it and let me increase the font size. Okay, so you can see better. You can see we have the forward slash here, and that is what differentiates the opening tag from the closing tag. So the HTML elements represent the root of an HTML document, because that is the roots. That's the root. Now, after the HTML, you can see we have the head element. It's also an opening and closing tag. You can see here the opening tag here and the closing tag here. And the head element is what now houses the title of your web page, the title of your web page. And that is where all these things are actually written. If you for the about page of your school website, of Rose School website, you can see we have about, that's Roseful International High School. We are going to be looking at how to create different pages later on. If it is gallery, you can see gallery. You have gallery. That is where the title is. So where they place all those stuffs is inside the title. Is inside the title element, which also has an opening and closing tag. So the opening and closing tag together is what represent the title element. So this is head elements. All right, we are going to be talking about these meta tags later on. But our focus are just the basic structures for now. Now, the body is where the body element represent the content of the HTML document. It also has an opening and closing tag. Now, when you want to write, when you want to display anything on your web page, it is inside the body element that you're going to do it. And that is what is now going to introduce us to different elements and tags in HTML. So I'm going to be showing you one now, and in our next class, we are going to be continuing with other elements in HTML. So the first one is the H1 element, which is used for title. So this is Roseful International High School. Now, if I save that one and I go to my web page, you can see this is Roseful International High School. So with this, we've come to the end of our first lesson for the term. You should